I've been waiting for this day for about a week, like we always do, every Tuesday here on the Calcio Guys on CJO 1690 with Adriano DiNardo and Gianni Delacalle. I'm myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. Gianni says hi. He makes his return to the Calcio Guys. We're gonna have Nando Musano join us later. We were just discussing it before. A lot of soccer coming up.
Yes. Yeah. A boatload.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
I love it because I think from the 7th, so Juve plays Inter on Friday, right until the 18th when Milan hosts Bologna. It's going to be soccer every single day, whether it be the Serie A or the Champions League. Actually, you know what? I lied because there's Coppa Italia today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
And Thursday. There's soccer on Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 14 straight days of soccer.
Can't complain.
I don't think anyone is complaining about that.
No.
And unfortunately, we only do this once a week, so we have to try to fit everything into our short hour. And what I want to start off with, we saw on the weekend the draw for Euro 2020 qualifiers, where Italy got drawn into a group with Bosnia, Finland, Greece, Armenia, and Liechtenstein. They can't miss out on this qualification, can they?
Don't. Just no. If they don't fix any of their goal scoring issues as soon as they can, believe it or not, I actually don't feel that confident in Italy's ability to actually get on top of this group. I mean, they could probably finish top 2, but they really need to start scoring some goals.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean, as we said in the previous international break, the midfield, the defense, has been stepping up big time. So that's obviously positive. But as we said, the missing link is the attack, and it's definitely an attack thing when you talk about Italy. And they, as Jenny said, they definitely got to fix that and get a couple more strikers in there, some maybe younger guys, maybe Cutrone. Maybe that's the missing link.
I like that idea. I really do. I support that idea.
The Milan boy, so I'll take it.
It's funny you bring up Cutrone. I actually wrote in our little notes. By the time the Euro qualifiers come up, it's gonna be in March. So, is it time for Cutrone finally to get on the national team?
Yeah, no, I definitely do think so. He's got that eye for goal, and he's hungry. He's a young kid. He knows how to finish, and he's proven it so far in his short career at Milan. So I definitely think Mancini should look his way when calling up, players for the national team, and I think he'll definitely be, hopefully, maybe that missing link to go behind guys like Immobile, Balotelli, and I think they can really work things out in the attack.
Cutrone is the type of player that whenever there's a big game or an important goal needs to be scored, it somehow ends up being him if he's on the field. He's a type of player who's, like Adriano said, hungry for the goal, always in the box area, trying to fight for that ball. The goal that he scored this weekend, I think he got it because he was the one who caused the turnover to happen to even get the play started. So he's the kind of player that I say that Italy should at least give a try. I mean, we haven't seen him yet on a national team besides the under-20s. I mean, give this kid some playing time with the actual men and let's give it a shot, because right now nothing's working. Might as well just throw something out there and hope it works.
Cutrone takes the ball, gets it to Suso. The ball inside, deflected. Here's a shot. Cutrone! It's 1-1. A snapshot. That beats Sepe, and Milan are level.
So that was his goal that he scored on the weekend, the game-tying goal. And like you said, he did create the turnover and almost did it all by himself to score. So back to Italy. So in the group, there's Greece. So for Italy to qualify for Euro 2020, they're going to have to go through Greece. So imagine covering this home and away series. You get to go to Italy, you get to go to Greece.
It would be beautiful countries.
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
No.
What do you think is a better country to visit?
It depends. It honestly depends, because the islands of Greece apparently are really beautiful. I've never been before, but everybody that I've heard that went, they say it's extremely beautiful to visit. Nobody goes to visit the mainland of Greece. Everyone goes for the islands. Whereas Italy has the advantage that you most likely are just going to be, you have the north, which is very prosperous cities, but then again, the southeast is very beautiful with all its beaches as well. So it depends on what kind of person you are.
No. We're the Calcio Guys here. Italy's the place to go, and there's no questions asked.
Adriano nailed that one on the head. So it'll be interesting. So like I said, it starts off in March. And what I love about this qualifier is it's every single international break. So the break in March, June, September, October, November, there's always games. And Italy, at least their schedule is, they play the first game, 3 days later they play the second game of that break. So it's going to be tough. They're going to need to score goals. Mm-hmm. I don't see them missing out because top 2 qualify. And if Italy qualifies, since there's no official host for this Euros, there's different host cities. Rome is one of them.
Yep.
And they host the first game on June 15th. So if Italy qualifies, they get drawn into the group that Rome hosts, and they will actually play the opening game of the tournament. They first need to qualify
Yes.
for it. Yesterday, Ballon d'Or, we saw Luka Modric win.
Yes.
He broke the streak there of Messi, Ronaldo.
I don't know. A lot of people are complaining about it. I personally don't mind it.
It's refreshing to see. I understand why people will complain, and it's like they have reasons that are somewhat valid, but Luka Modric was a player that really tried to make not only Real Madrid stand out, but also made his national team stand out. And one could argue that the reason why they even got to that far in the World Cup is because Modric was the key piece in that midfield.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. I think that's why he won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, definitely standout player. He's class player on the pitch, and as Johnny said, he has not only Real Madrid but Croatia. You know, a country like Croatia, they went really far in the World Cup, and I think it was pretty much on his shoulders, and he really brought the team to great heights in the World Cup. So it was good to see. Finally breaking, I guess, the streak, as we said, between Messi and Ronaldo there for Ballon d'Or. It's good to see.
Did you also see this at the Ballon d'Or ceremony yesterday? The first woman Ballon d'Or winner, Ada Hegerberg from Olympique Lyon, was asked by host DJ Martin Solveig if she knew how to twerk.
Oh my God!
That's
yes.
so garbage.
It was extremely embarrassing to watch. Even Kylian Mbappe had the best reaction of it all. He's like, did he just actually do that? He's just staring at the stage like stupefied. Honestly, it's just. I think everyone was shocked by that.
I would think so. I would hope so. I mean, that's not something that you bring up in times like that, and I don't even like even talking about it and giving them more airtime for no reason. It's something that's classless, and it shouldn't be done, especially at a ceremony like that. That's so important and prestigious, and I definitely think he did apologize, but you know what, your actions definitely speak louder than words.
His apology was a joke, so
yeah.
That's when you know it's not a real apology.
Exactly.
In Italy, they had their own awards ceremony yesterday.
Yeah, the gala.
The Gran Gala di Calcio or something like that.
Yeah.
Mauro Icardi actually got named Player of the Year. That's actually something I'm surprised with. I don't know who I would have given it to. I think Immobile has to be up there. Koulibaly. Mm-hmm. Koulibaly definitely has to be in the conversation for that.
Yeah.
You know what? I think he deserves it in some sense, right?
I wouldn't. Yeah, but Icardi deserves it in some sense. I wouldn't have given it. Thank you for the mention for KK over there. But as much as I love him, actually, I wouldn't really say he should have been in the conversation. He had a standout year, but he wasn't dominant on the back. Like he wasn't like the number one CB in Italy. Right now, he's playing like it, but. Last year, he was proving himself. Now he's showing it. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. In terms of Icardi, I think the only other person that would have competed with him for it was Immobile.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it's funny, we always talk about strikers. We never really talk about defenders. That's why I brought up Koulibaly. I mean, Giorgio Chiellini could definitely be in that conversation too. Alisson was named top goalie in the Serie A. So the awards were for the 2017-2018 season.
Did they also include not only Serie A performances but also Champions League performances, or in terms of your critique, or is just purely just based on Serie A performances?
I think it's just all season. I think it's all season. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Because that would make sense then.
Yeah, for Alisson especially,
Yeah.
I would give a shout out to Manolas maybe. He definitely pulled the strings for some Roma fans out there.
Goal. Roma played Inter this weekend, and we'll be touching upon that on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CGLO 1690.
Wanted the penalty, and he thought the referee was going to give it for a second there. The whistle seemed to go to the lips. No. Cengiz Undaj at the other end with a stunner! With an absolute stunner! And Roma are right back in it now! Cengiz Undaj comes alive and scores one of the goals of the season. Towards that near post! Mauro Icardi for Inter. Serie A game number 201. Goal number 118. When they need him, when it matters, Icardi delivers.
That's what we were just talking about on the Calcio Guys. Mauro Icardi, as you heard there, Serie A game 211?
201.
201 goal 188.
188.
So
118. 118th goal.
Oh,
in
okay.
201 appearances.
I misheard then. But regardless, he came out in the clutch for Inter, they took the lead against Roma, and then Kolarov tied it with the penalty late.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-2 draw, I think that's a fair score, considering how both teams played.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just like props to Inter. They were actually, in my opinion, the better team in that match. They definitely deserve to. If one of them had deserved the win, it would have been Inter, in my opinion. Roma needs to be better, especially the fact that they're slowly slipping out of a Champions League spot, and as you can see, they're taking a nice slide down the standings. So this was a game where they really needed to like play solid and get that W. And Under's goal was just spectacular. It was beautiful, but it was like a 1 in a million type of shot. You're never gonna see a beautiful goal like that probably again. So it takes a beautiful shot like that to score a goal for Roma. And then it takes a penalty to tie it up. In my opinion, Roma didn't really play as good as they should have.
No, I think you nailed those points really well. I do think it was a fair result, just in the matter of opportunities, shots on goal, stuff like that. Possession-wise, it was relatively close. Under, as you said, wonderful goal. I mean, he definitely made up for his miss there in the Champions League in front of goal, empty net, that he'll probably never forget. But you know what? He came back against good team in Inter, and he got a wonder goal. I do think, fair result definitely for between these two sides. I think Roma obviously would have liked the win, as you said, falling down the standings there a bit, and now in 7th place. But I think they'll definitely take the points and definitely look forward to the games ahead of them.
So Inter, they had to play Tottenham last Wednesday.
Yeah.
They played Roma on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They play Juventus on Friday, and then they host PSV next Tuesday.
Makes
so
sense.
they have a busy schedule, a lot of important games. What do you think they need to do to kind of like balance their roster and kind of get the results they need?
Well, I think if Spalletti's smart, definitely rotating the lineup there. They do have guys to do that, and as I think we mentioned last week, Keita Balde and Lautaro Martinez, two guys that can definitely turn the game on its head and produce. And they did it last week. Balde, Diallo, Keita back at it again this past weekend, and I think those rotations in the lineup are definitely going to be huge for them, because these are not easy games that they have coming up, and they have a lot of them. So they're definitely going to have to rotate the lineup. And if Spalletti can do that, I think they'll be on their way a bit.
But it's a very thin sheet of ice to walk on, because it's not just as if your Serie A game is going to be against some middle of the pack type of team. You're playing against Juventus, which is the first place team. So it comes to the point where it's do you sacrifice the points versus Juventus so that you can rest your best roster for PSV because that's a needed win against PSV, or do you try to put your somewhat best roster versus Juve and hope that they'll be rested enough to play against PSV on Tuesday? So it's a very, very, very delicate situation right now that Inter is on. But I think Spalletti is very experienced enough to actually make that right call. But I honestly, what I'm thinking is that against Juve, I think he's actually might sacrifice the points. Actually, he might put a bit of a weaker lineup versus them.
That's interesting, but it's a Derby d'Italia. We'll be talking about that later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to be sacrificing any players, especially what happened in April between the two teams. Again, we'll be talking about that later in the show. Right now, we have to focus on the past week in the Serie A, including this.
Once again, Bologna give them a chance, and Quagliarella has put Sampdoria in the lead again. He's not going to get many more. This round could be a chance. It is a goal. Fabio Quagliarella has his second of the game.
Fabio Quagliarella, the Napolitan striker for Sampdoria. They beat Bologna 4-1. I mean, what a season he's been having, even at 35 years old.
He's an ageless wonder. Honestly, it's just the type of player that you should never underestimate if you're building your own Calcio team.
That's for sure.
He's the kind of guy where it's maybe this year you'll finally slow down, and next thing you know, he starts off the season with 3 goals in the first 5 games or something. It's just... He's honestly, he's been a bright spot for Sampdoria, especially for the way everything started for them at the beginning of the season with the whole tragedy and whatnot. So props to him. I really hope he keeps it up. He keeps proving that age is just a number.
Definitely. No, 35 years young. I would definitely say for Quagliarella there. 2 goals again this weekend, and definitely I think putting the team on his back, at that age, and still getting it done, and still being a force to be reckoned with in Serie A when there's so many good teams and so many good defenses. And you know what, he's not old, but he's just as Johnny said, age is just a number.
One thing I just want to add fast is that can we just give like props to Caprari for that game for Sampdoria? Like his passes, if you rewatch the highlights, his passes were just so spot on, and basically he generated most of the offense for Sampdoria that entire game. The first goal, like he had 3 guys on him, and he just basically danced around them and forced them away, and he just made that assist. Like,
I think you got 2 assists.
Yeah, and the second assist was just a beautiful through ball, cut the defense in the middle, and gave Quags the opportunity to score.
I think he's one player that's definitely under the radar this year because of Quagliarella. He, like you said, he plays alongside him. He's setting up the passes. He's kind of a bright spot on that Sampdoria team. Bright young Italian.
Yeah, younger guy.
He had a brighter future at one point, but he's making a name for himself now.
Yeah.
Vestri trying to hook it over his shoulder. There's a shot, and it's found the back of the net. A snapshot from Ansaldi.
That was Torino, Gianni. You said it about a month ago, 2 months ago now, when you compared Torino's offense to a sleeping giant. They're in sixth place now.
Yeah, they're climbing up the ladder. But I'm still, you know what? I don't know like how to explain it. I still expect more, like especially from Bellotti. I think it's 2 goals in a row that he scores, but they only came from penalties.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
Like it's just if you look at their offense, they have great guys. That's why I call them the blind sleeping giant. There'll be a game where they're just missing shots like crazy, and you only get 1 goal. Then there'll be a game where they're all accurate for some reason, and they score 4. Against Genoa, against Genoa, it's like, mind you, that should have been a draw, not a win, because Falque kind of embellished that fall there in the box, but that's another topic that I don't really want to talk about.
I don't mind that penalty call. There was contact. It's because when you're going that fast and the slightest of contact ruins your momentum, it's okay to fall.
You're going down.
Regardless. No, but the thing is, like he took a step and then he took another fall. Like
he realized he had no balance. I think, and that's the thing about soccer. Like I said, it's easier to fall than it is to keep yourself up. It's a challenge to keep himself up at that point. If we're talking on the topic about referees, before we do MVP of the week, yellow card, red cards. Adrian, you want to start with this one, Adrian?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna have to go over to Rome, but on Lazio's side, this weekend, another disappointing result for a bigger team, tying last place Chievo once again. Napoli did it last week. Lazio doing it this week. Very embarrassing for them. Very, very shocking to see. I mean, Chievo 2 games in a row, and they're getting points. So it's crazy. But I'm definitely gonna have to give a red card for Lazio there.
It's a red card.
This is going to be a red card, and is that going to change the course of the game?
We'll be talking about Lazio with Nando Musano in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
You, Johnny? What card?
I'm giving a red card to Romulo for getting a red card and ruining my Fanta Calcio this week. But there you go, straight up. I don't care. Give him another one.
And it was pretty fast.
It was yellows. Like 2 yellows in 15 minutes. It was something crazy like that.
But the second one, was it a yellow or was it a straight red?
It was a second yellow because he had a high. His foot was pretty much in the air.
That could have been a straight red too. That was a dangerous.
Because it's cleats up basically. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to go. You know what? Can I give a yellow and red this week?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure, if it's quick.
Okay, I have to give a yellow to Cengiz Under for missing that.
As I said, yeah.
Yeah, for missing that
golden opportunity
against Real Madrid.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
And then I'm going to have to give a red card to 2 referees. The referee in the Fiorentina Juve game, and the referee in the Roma Inter game. More the VAR referees, where there was 2 instances where the first one in Florence, Ronaldo got knocked down in the box. He kind of nutmegged, I think it was Pizzella. Yeah, I think it was Pizzella. He nutmegged Pizzella. He tries to get around him, and as he gets around him, Pizzella puts his arm around, and Ronaldo falls. There's no dive on it, and you know what? It kind of looks innocent, but then you look at it on replay. It's a clear penalty. Similar thing happened with Zaniolo. He went around a defender, got knocked down in Rome, and clear penalty. And again, the referee said no, and they didn't go to VAR. VAR is coming into the Champions League. What's the point of having VAR if you're not going to check instances like this?
Yeah, and definitely for things like that, I think it's definitely important. Even a silent check, delay the game just a couple of minutes. It's not going to really change that much. You'd rather get the right call than getting in the papers and the journals later that they're going to be blowing up with a bad call. So I think you're right.
And it's a red card.
Yeah, I agree with you. The silent check, just let the referee wait.
Yeah.
We kind of saw that again. Juve where Berardi knocked the ball or stopped the ball with his hand. I don't know if you saw it. He was sliding and the ball struck his hand, but the hand that was on the ground. That's usually not given as a handball.
No.
And the referee went to go check VAR. The VAR referee might have said that's a handball, but the ref checked VAR. He said, no, according to me, that's not a handball.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
There's communication there.
I don't mind that. Even as a Juve fan, I didn't like the call, but then you look at it on replay and you see actually the ball actually struck his back and then struck the arm that was on the ground. So it would have been really harsh to give that as a handball. I digress. Man of the week.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I think I'm going to have to go with, the ageless wonder, 35 years young, Fabio Quagliarella. We discussed him before, but you know what? You can't talk any more highly for him just because he's just proving year after year that he's just so dominant, so powerful, so important for Sampdoria and all the teams that he's actually played for. Getting another 2 goals, doppietta on the weekend, so it was definitely good to see, and I'm going to have to give my MVP of the week to Quagliarella.
I'm going to give it to Cutrone because the guy scored a very solid effort goal. I have to give him a big bunch of kudos because that's something that, not only do you just challenge a guy, get the ball off him, but you also generate the offense that scores, and now it's a big moment for him, and that's just a big thing for a player to do. So I would give him my man of the week.
Respect.
And for me, I'm going to actually have to go for Dries Mertens for his performance. I see your watch. For his performance against Red Star in Champions League, and then his game yesterday against Atalanta. He set up the assist on Fabian Ruiz's goal, and he's just one player. He's just having a fantastic season. He's not going to lead the stat categories, but he's doing all the right things, and he's really that leader on Napoli. And it's great to see him explode. And you know what? He really benefited from having a star role in the World Cup, and you really see that this season.
A wonderful pass for Dries Mertens to finish! A second goal for Mertens. Napoli have the win for sure.
That will do it for our segment here. On the other side, so one team we didn't talk about, Chievo, because they actually tied Lazio at the Stadio Bentegodi.
Yeah.
And they're undefeated since firing Gianpiero Ventura. They have 3 straight draws, 2 of which were against European teams.
And teams in the top, 4 or 5, so it's definitely, crazy to see Di Carlo over there. He's working some wonders, I guess. I don't know what he's doing, but he's definitely doing a good job.
Yeah, so like I said, they tied Napoli, they tied Lazio, and then Nando Musano is going to be joining us shortly to talk about Lazio. Not a good week for them.
Nope.
In the Europa League and Serie A. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CJLO 1690.